All right. Welcome, everybody, to the Pelco and Salient Making Sense of Sensors with CompleteView VMS and HALO Smart Sensors webinar. If you have any questions during the webinar, please post them in the Q&A section on Teams here, and we'll get to those as we go along through the webinar. And any questions we don't answer during the webinar, we'll follow up on via email afterwards. All right, so let's do some introductions here. Mike, you want to introduce yourself?
Yes, thank you, Dan. My name is Mike Davis. I'm the Director of Business Development for IP Video, which is the sensor division of Motorola Solutions Group.
And I'm Dan Berg, Senior Product Manager for Integrations here at Salient Systems. So I handle third-party integrations as well as camera support. So, and then I'm going to hand it off to you, Mike, to tell us what HALO Smart Sensors are and what they do.
Thank you. So if you haven't heard about the HALO Smart Sensor, let me just start by saying smart sensors are devices that have sensors within them, the ability to process data, the ability to do some computing and some communications. Basically, a smart sensor is the foundation of any smart building. And there's a lot of different events that we can get out of this product. But essentially, this is we often refer to it as the cameraless camera. It's a sensor that can go where cameras cannot. A lot of times that might be private areas or private areas where there's some expectation of privacy, just areas we might not have a video camera. Certainly they can go where cameras can, but they can also go where cameras cannot. What they're really good at doing is collecting data. So in the sensor, there's 15 different individual sensor components within HALO, each of those collecting data every second, putting that into an internal database. Then we process that. So we're running analytics on that data, looking for specific sets of data to occur in certain ways. So once we begin looking at that data, we're looking for events. We can add logic application. So if this and this and this happen all at the same time, we can really customize that logic to customers' needs. We can adapt. We have the ability to adjust events, combine events, create custom events. We have the ability to connect to other systems. HALO may not be the best user interface for your customers. Usually that's going to be an interface with some other system like a Salient system. And that's where we're integrating with other systems. We also have the ability to expand upon HALO by linking HALOs together, by adding events to HALOs, or by adding external sensors to the existing sensors that are already within HALO. So we have a line called Amplify that gives us the ability to add external sensors like temp and humidity and air pressure and light levels, and also water flood sensors and panic buttons and so on. So external sensors to expand upon the solution as well. Yeah. So what really are we good at? Unlocking health and safety anywhere. Multiple different sensors. We can look for things like smoking, vaping. We can tell the difference with vape that has THC and vape that does not. We have audio analytics where we're looking for things like aggression and gunshots and motion detection, occupancy levels, and a lot more. We can detect multiple events all at the same time. It's not uncommon for us to have 20 or 30 different events all concurrently monitoring at the same time. We do have the ability to notify you in real time, as well as push that event notification to you as an individual, but also to our integration partners so you can see that event within your Salient system as well. We can create external reports, analytics, visualize graphics, maps, and so on. So it can be very, very powerful from that integrated perspective. We really are good at protecting those private areas. So detecting events that often are not going to be noticed by a camera. Keywords can be used. We have the ability to use keyword phrases to create events. That could be a duress word. It could be some other command word to execute some sort of event. Gunshot detection. All major calibers of handguns and rifles are in our library. Aggressive behavior, yelling, screaming, fighting types of noises. Very easy to integrate with other VMSs. Surface mount this product, and you can daisy chain to save labor, cabling cost, and PoE port.
And I've got to say, you guys made it incredibly easy to integrate sensors into our VMS.
Thanks, Dan. You guys did a great job. It looks good. I can't wait to show that. This is just a graphic showing you distances as well as all the different events that we can do concurrently. So look at the center of this. You know, we've got that halo in the middle. From there, look at the red events. We've got vaping with THC, vaping, masking, and smoking. We've also got tampering with the device, as well as emergency alerts or lighting and audio alerts. We've got the aggression and the ability to use keyword phrases. You have the gunshot detection, the motion detection. You even see a whole bunch of the blue icons there, which gets into air quality. We have two indexes, health index and air quality index. We're monitoring temp and humidity and volatile organic compounds and nitrogen dioxide, carbon monoxide, carbon dioxide, and more. We can add certain things on like the panic buttons and the water leak detection, and also occupancy sensors. We'll talk a little bit more about that, but a lot of interesting things we can do all there at the same time.
Great, real Swiss Army knife.
We've been called that.
All right. So Salient, a little introduction to us. So we're a software vendor. We offer an open architecture, open platform video management system called CompleteView. It's very scalable. One of our largest deployments has over 35,000 cameras in it across multiple locations, but all being managed from one management server. So it's a very scalable solution, but again, can start off very small. We have a hybrid cloud option, so kind of you can get your feet wet going into a cloud type of deployment with remote access very securely. Low cost of ownership, we charge a channel license per device, and that's it. We don't charge for clients, we don't charge for server licenses or anything like that. We don't charge for integration. So we have a great bandwidth savings capability from the server to the client. So we're transcoding the video and only sending exactly what's necessary to the client. That also lowers the cost of your client workstation because you don't need this big hunkin', gaming type of PC to watch video on. And then our support team is just, I've been in this industry for 35 years almost. And I got to say, the support team here at Salient is awesome. So, and we are headquartered here in Austin, Texas, and that's where all of our development happens, as well as our support. All right. So when we integrated the HALO sensors into CompleteView, which it's already done, so we don't have to wait for anything. With that, the capabilities of that integration is that we get the events when the HALO sensor detects something. We get that event. It is listed out as showing the actual detection, what it detected. We can create rules for that within our VMS. We can also view the HALO dashboard as a video stream in CompleteView. That's very handy because you can then monitor what's going on with your HALO sensor, what it's detecting in real time, along with the events that are coming in at the same time. And that also allows us to record that dashboard, that video stream, and then you're able to export that out with video from say an overview camera or an associated camera at the same time. So if you've got a sensor in the bathroom, you don't necessarily, well, you really can't put a camera in there. So you would have a camera looking at the entrance or the exit. So when that sensor goes off with the detection, you're going to be able to record the person coming out of that bathroom and then export the video for both devices, the HALO and the camera, at the same time to give you a nice airtight case there. All right. Important to note that each HALO device, because we are recording video, does require a channel license in CompleteView. And let's take a quick look here at how these are enumerated or how you see these in complete view. So first of all, whoops, that did wrong. Okay. Okay. So first we get the Halo video showing up as a video feed, and that's live video. When an alert comes in the upper right pane there, you see a map, and you're going to see the icon and field of view, quote unquote, field of view for the Halo sensor and for an associated camera start flashing in yellow, indicating there's an alarm condition on those devices. And then in the continuously scrolling events pane in the lower right, you're going to see those events with the description listed out there on the right. And we also have another screen within Complete View Client that is our alarm view. And this is for really monitoring, if you've got somebody that's heavily monitoring the system. So a little video here. So when an event comes in, cameras pop up into the upper left. Those are the pop-up screens there. It's indicated on the map with the flashing icon. And then you can select the event, and down in the lower right, look at the event in live and recorded. So you can do some review and still keep an eye on it in real time. Okay. All right, so now we get to the part of where can we use these sensors? Really, it's everywhere.
But this is the fun part of the conversation. So
Yes.
we've taken a map here and we've just kind of laid out some typical use cases in a couple different vertical markets. So, you saw the dashboard from the Halo becoming visible as an RTSP stream. You have all of those events. So all of this is communicated up through that integration with Salient, visible on that dashboard in real time. All of these are some typical use cases, but I want to point out Halo's very customizable. So you might use some of this, you might use all of it, or there might be events that you could use or create that wouldn't even be shown here. But just a couple of things. I'll let you guys read those ones in orange because there are going to be some standard ones. Looking at gunshot or emergency escape lighting or such. But I'm going to go over a little bit of these ones that are on the right-hand side listed. For example, drug use and overdose detection. So we do have the ability to use an occupancy sensor. So this would be one of our external sensors, or it can be a built-in version. We have the Halo 3C, which is what we were talking about here. We also have the Halo 3C PC, which has that people counting occupancy sensor built in. So with those devices, we can look and measure how long somebody is in an area. And if they become still and don't move, now we can measure a stationary time or a non-movement time. And there's a number of hospitals and other places as well where we've used this drug overdose detection. It's really looking for a lack of movement. So in this case, we can see somebody with a thermal sensor, but their movement has stopped. There's no even micro movements, hand movements, facial moving of your head, etc. And then we can play an audible message. So we have a pre-recorded audio message saying, potential health event has occurred. If you're okay, wave your hands, say I'm okay. We'll look for that. We'll listen for that. If we don't hear that, then we'll send an event saying that they're a drug use or somebody's potentially immobile for an excessive period of time and did not respond to a verbal response. So there are multiple places where that can be very important. You could think of every hospital for sure, but lots and lots of other potential use cases there. Temperature monitoring, and not just ambient air temperature, but again, through using our amplified temperature probes, we could get into low temperature monitoring for medications like cancer medications that have to be stored at very, very low temperatures. Being able to capture that data, record that data, and have that data available over a period of time. Air pressure differential. For example, hospital operating rooms must be positively air pressured. When there are air leaks, we want that air to leak out of the operating room and not in. We don't want that patient who has an open wound to be infected. So we positively air pressure that. So we can look at the delta between two rooms, air pressure, and identify where we have positive air pressure, where we have negative air pressure. By the way, we might have negative air pressure where there are maybe infectious diseases. You know, a person has COVID, we want that room to be negatively air pressured so that any air leaks will be coming into the room, not out. And then we have visitors, obviously looking at, people who are in an area. Again, occupancy sensing. Are there too many people? Are there not enough people? Are they there after hours? Are we giving them warnings of we're coming up on different times? Using keywords to cause events. Again, going back to that operating room, we have a number of hospitals using keyword to close out a case in an operating room. Imagine, 4 or 5 people in an operating room today, and they're there, and everybody's following scrub protocol, right? I can't touch anything. I can't put my hands below my waist, etc. And when the operation's over, we all leave. We all scrub out, and then I go notify maintenance to come in and clean. I go notify scheduling that the next patient can get ready. Well, if I could cut 15 minutes off of that by using a verbal command that notifies everybody, then I can save 15 minutes per operation. It obviously scales to a very quick ROI for hospitals. Lots of different ways to use keyword commands within that hospital or healthcare setting. Obviously, aggression detection, and one of my favorites, two-person compliance. As an example, in a pharmacy, I need 2 people for certain medications to dispense them. A lot of times these are done just with ID cards or codes, rather than an occupancy sensor, which could say there are 2 people in there, not one person who knows both codes. So it can be used as part of that, and many other highly customizable use cases in healthcare.
Right. And these are applicable not just to hospitals, but also urgent care facilities, long-term nursing facilities, really, anywhere that any of these type of applications can be found.
Yeah. And just to answer Chris's question, does a sensor event and VMS recording create a bookmark of the event on the VMS? Yes, it does. So
Yes.
certainly
Mm-hmm.
we're sending that event data through to Salient. They're creating an event from that, as you saw in the little video before, where you saw the scrolling event data. So that's bookmarking that video for you to go back and review.
Yeah, and it also does it on if you have another camera associated with the sensor, it creates a bookmark on that as well. Okay. Retail.
Boy, there's a whole bunch in retail, and I'll just say, when we go back to the private areas, where are issues usually in retail, or where do those issues originate? There's a couple key places, and so restrooms are certainly one of them. Restrooms, I'm unable to put cameras there. They're not visible to employees and staff typically. So where might problems occur? Especially think of any public retail that has restrooms, and people are able to go in there. Drug use and vagrancy and vandalisms, all of these things originate in those private areas. But don't forget the areas like changing rooms. Lots of potential issues happen there. A typical, even in a very, very small like convenience store location, we will oftentimes see a halo in each restroom and over a cashier. A lot of times, think about the ability to use that keyword command to go back to a SOC, and at that SOC, a keyword command alerts somebody there to be looking in during an event. Might be an overt or might be a covert keyword phrase, but you could have multiple. So you could have one doing an overt and one doing a more covert reaction from the operations center. So we can do that. Dwell times of people in lines, somebody in line on this side of the cashiers, but nobody on the other side. Maybe I need to alert a manager or something. So many different ways for us to customize that. But then there's a whole bunch of the normal things you might see. Again, the drug use or overdose, the cashier's missing when there's people on the other side, excessive dwell times in areas. Again, somebody's hiding out in a restroom. We want to, if you're in a restroom for more than 20 minutes in a stall, I wanted you to let me know. But if you're more than 5 minutes standing in front of a sink, or there's more than 2 or 3 people in there, and they're all there for more than 5 or 10 minutes, maybe now I want to know. So all sorts of, again, customizable analytics and logic program that we can add there. Doors left open, again, coolers and freezers and chillers and such that we want to keep an eye on. Leak detection, water leaking, ammonia detection in areas where there's coolers and such. So lots of different things that we have happening in retail.
I was thinking of people counting there, when they get a swarm happening and a bunch of people enter your store, all of a sudden, that could be a trigger on that.
Yep. Yep. Chris commented again, in a hotel, cleaning staff could use the keyword command to notify the front desk. Yeah, absolutely. So most states now have regulations, and most major chains follow the rules to have some sort of panic notification. So they walk into a room, they didn't think there was anybody in the room, there was somebody there, they get assaulted. Panic buttons have been the typical way of doing that. However, with a panic button, I have to be able to get to it. If I don't have it in my hand at the time and I'm assaulted, the chances of me getting to my panic button are low. However, if I have a verbal keyword, the ability for me to get that verbal keyword out is much higher, so that now I can call for help verbally, and that keyword can be detected by that sensor in the room. Also, don't forget, how many hotels have you been in and they say there's no smoking in this room, no vaping in this room. If you do, you're going to be charged $250. And we know that nobody ever gets charged because they just say, I didn't do it. However, with a HALO, now you would have verification and the ability to prove that and to charge those fees.
Yeah, exactly. Just want to answer one question here. There was Omar's asking if the sensor adding to the camera is a new device. So the HALO sensors exist, by themselves. They don't depend on a camera. So it's you can associate a camera to the HALO sensor, but it's attached to the HALO sensor. So it's not wired together. That makes sense? All right. Moving on. Education, your bread and butter. Our bread and butter too.
Education is where we kind of came up in the industry, and we were sort of right place, right time, because we could detect vaping better than anyone else. This is the world's #1 vape detection sensor. 6 out of every 10 vape sensors sold worldwide is a HALO. If you look at the education market and you look at the top 500 school districts in North America, the 7 out of every 10 sensors sold is a HALO. We dominate that market. And why? Because we address all the issues that they care about in education. What happens in a restroom? Vaping, smoking, great. Those we can certainly detect. What are the other things, the other social behaviors that also occur when vaping occurs? Aggressive behavior, bullying, fighting, vandalism. All of these things are common. We detect them. We can notify you that those events take place. Not uncommon that a school would think about HALO to be a device that would address those restroom, locker room, stairwell type issues. We have success with them, and then we are able to start helping them enjoy the benefits beyond the vaping, smoking, and such, and look at air quality. Honestly, air quality is an enormous market for this product. We look at all the major factors for air quality, including health index, air quality index, carbon monoxide, carbon dioxide, volatile organic compounds, and so on and so on, as well as, of course, doors propped open through a door window sensor, water leak detection, kids flushing their vape sensors down the toilets, and on and on. But we have use cases with customers buying a few hundred halos for the vape detection, and shortly thereafter buying thousands of halos for the purpose of air quality monitoring and integration with their building automation and building management system.
Yeah, and I think it's
Chris,
important. Oh, go
go
ahead.
right ahead.
Yes.
I was just reading Chris's question there. Can you expand on how the dwell time feature works specifically for students in washrooms? Yeah, so with if we use our Amplify people counting occupancy sensor, so imagine this is an external device. It is Bluetooth or wirelessly connected back to Halo as a hub. So it can be mounted somewhere nearby the Halo, and it's sending its data to Halo. Inside Halo, we still have all that data collection, data processing, data analytics capability. Within the occupancy sensor, we are able to create zones. So I can have this zone over here where I'm counting number of people, and I assign this zone. I can only have 5 people in this zone. That's my maximum occupancy. I can say in this zone, if anybody exceeds a dwell time of X, 5 minutes, then I want an alert. Over here, my occupancy threshold is one. If I go above 1, I want an alert. Right? It's a stall. There shouldn't be 3 people in a stall. And my dwell time there might be 30 minutes, right? So however you kind of see those, you can do that by zone. You can also have line crossing for counting of ins and outs. So we have seen this become extremely popular for a couple of reasons. Number one is, the simple one, kids are hiding out they don't want to go to class, they're hiding out in the restroom, right? So if you're in anywhere in this restroom for more than 15, 20 minutes, we want to know about it. The other is somebody is passed out. Again, we could do that non-movement issue over a period of time. Another is we're constantly seeing issues with exceeding occupancy, or how many people should be in this area. If there's more than 5 people in this area, then it's too many, right? There's something going on. Or if there's more than 5 people in here and they've been in here for more than 10 minutes, something's going on. I just want to check on it. So it does give you all of those different capabilities of running different analytics all at the same time.
Great. I also want to, bring the point here that, again, this is a non-video sensor, right? So there's no camera in there. Even the listening capabilities of it, there's no capability for us on the VMS side to actually tap into that audio. So I know from, experience in the past, teachers do not like to have cameras in the classroom. They don't like to be, spied upon. But this would be very acceptable for them because, again, we're not recording audio, we're not recording video.
I'll answer 2 more questions here. Molly asked 2 questions. Are you able to control the sensitivity of the device, and what is the false alarm rate? So yes, you can control the sensitivity of each individual event parameter. So you can get very granular in that. And then what is the false alarm rate? As regards to what event, I'll assume you may have meant vaping. So with vaping, we're in the 90 percentile. So the way that we do this event around vaping is there's multiple parameters: air particulates, VOCs, ammonias, and so on. And all of these have to occur in the right times and with the right percentages and the right relationships to each other. It's possible if I'm using aerosol sprays and air fresheners and such all at the same time mixing together, there may be false alarms, but we can make adjustments to filter those out. So typically, we don't have a big problem with false alarms. If we do, we get on with our support team and we can make adjustments to the device.
Yeah, there's a couple more questions there. Mike, you want to?
Sure. The panic button, what is the use of the panic button installed in the ceiling? So in an education scenario, a lot of times the people who might be responding to events might want that panic button. So I'm responding to an event. There's a fight in there. I open the door. There's a bunch of kids fighting. I don't have time to go get help, to get on my phone to call for help, I just press that panic button and I get people coming, right? So a lot of times it's that panic button that is given to the people who are responding to events there in the restroom. Deep cleaning in the summer, cause havoc with HALO. Is there a cover? Sure. You can put a cover over the device or remove the device for a period of time. It's fairly easy to do. There's one security screw. You remove that security screw and you can remove the HALO. Or you can cover it. What we don't want is chemicals sprayed directly at or inside the HALO, obviously. Maximum occupancy sensing for a single room is 15. So we can get up to 15 in a single room. We can shortly, we're looking at our cloud component to be able to do additions of devices. So we want to take all the net entry exits from all these different doors and accumulate that into a single number for a room. We'll be able to do that shortly in the cloud by getting data from multiple halos. And I'm using Meraki cameras. Do the sensors work with those now? So we work with VMSs. So we integrate with Salient. If you use a Meraki camera into Salient and a HALO into Salient, yes. Do we work with the Meraki VMS? No. Are there other power source options besides PoE? It's just base PoE for the HALO. If you want to run two halos, so you can daisy chain one to a second one, then you need PoE plus. The only other option is a PoE injector. So if you want to power locally and use a PoE injector for power, then you could use Wi-Fi connectivity for data communication and locally power it with that injector. What is the max distance of the panic button? So these are Bluetooth. So typical Bluetooth range, about 100 feet open air. In a typical building environment, probably 40, 50 feet. Is it possible for the devices to track the student who vaped? No, we may not do that for privacy concerns. We do, with the occupancy sensor, have the ability to visualize blobs in an area, right? But they have to be blobs. We cannot identify a student within an area for the privacy rules.
Right. All right. I was going to say, suggest a shower cap for the cleaning when they're cleaning during the summertime.
Saran wrap or shower cap. They both work just fine.
Yep. All right. Let's see here. So data centers, kind of a unique market, but ever growing by leaps and bounds, it seems. You want to talk about these points here? Go ahead.
Sure. I mean, this could be the fastest growing individual vertical market that we've ever seen, right? The advent of AI is certainly pushing this, and we have been contacted by thousands of potential data center locations. They care about air quality. They care about some of the security features, but they really care about air quality. If offline you guys would like to talk to me, I'll give you one thing that we do, which is very unique. We're taking our people counting sensor and air quality sensors within a HALO 3C PC, and we're using that to monitor some of the areas where they have battery backup systems. So there's a lot of things to talk about in data centers. A lot of that's going to be pretty straightforward. The typical panic buttons and audio keywords and such. But to leave you with one that if you're interested, you could connect with me directly. It's monitoring batteries. That could be for anybody who has batteries, but certainly data centers will have battery backup. Any batteries that are being stored, they're constantly being charged, and they do have the ability to start off-gassing certain gases. There's also a very specific temperature range they should operate in. And if a battery starts to go into a runaway overheat condition, there is a very specific data set that we can see prior to that hitting a runaway condition and beginning to overheat and potentially catch on fire. And so we're developing an algorithm right now with a few places that we will be able to monitor the batteries for those particular gases that may be off gas, especially while we're seeing a thermal increase, and looking at the rate of that increase as well as the gases together gives us a great indication that we may be getting into a dangerous situation. So every data center I've talked about is very interested in that particular event.
Brilliant. There's another question there relating to the tracking a person who vaped. You want to kind of address that one?
Yeah, it's specifically a law. So federal privacy laws will prevent you from being able to identify a person within a restroom. So we cannot identify anybody within a restroom. Same reason you can't put a camera inside there. We can't identify that person. We do have the visualization. So I want to be very clear about the difference between tracking a student and tracking a blob, right? Because with a thermal sensor I'm able to recognize a thermal signature. That thermal signature I'll call a blob. I can tell where it is, how long it's been in an area. I may even be able to tell how likely it is that it's that blob that was vaping, but we cannot associate that thermal signature with a student. So can we track some of those things and visualize them? We can. Can we associate that with a person? We can't, right? That's when we cross the line for privacy.
All right. And it's not just data centers, but it could be any type of IT infrastructure that can benefit from the HALO sensors. IDF rooms, for example. Years ago, I had a situation where a camera went down at a customer site. We went out there, looked at the camera. Everything was good on the camera. Started tracing the wiring and went through a very old building where we discovered in the basement the boiler had burst a pipe. And so it was a sauna in there with about 6 inches of water flooding the floor. And say a HALO sensor in there, we would have known about it beforehand, before we got there. So, all right. Okay, so kind of summarize this. So some of the key takeaways, it's a combination of CompleteView with the HALO sensors. And again, privacy, right? I don't think we can stress that enough, that this solution protects privacy for individuals. So it is useful in a lot of situations where you cannot put a camera, right? So you minimize the risks, proactively detect and respond. You're enhancing security. I like look at this as CompleteView is a video management software solution. This is adding additional senses beyond vision to the system, smell, feeling, just all those human senses, right? You're adding it to our video system. And, it's really improving efficiency. So it's not just for security purposes, but it also can be used to streamline operations.
Absolutely. I wanted to answer one more of Chris's questions.
Yeah.
He had just asked, is there anything on the roadmap for alternate power sources such as lithium batteries in smoke alarms that might last 5 years, or 12-volt DC? 12-volt DC will be on the roadmap in the near future. Battery powered probably will not be. The battery would be too big and have to be replaced or recharged too often for the power draw that we need. Also, George, is the product sold as an individual sensor, or there managed subscriptions needed per device? That's a great question. So Gregory, Halos are sold as standalone sensors. So you can purchase this sensor one time. You need no additional cost, no additional licensing, and you can have that sensor operating with all the features we've discussed. We also have Halo Cloud. Halo Cloud is a subscription service. That subscription service, think about, we're doing all these analytics at the Halo, we're doing those locally. So these are edge-based analytics. When I have hundreds or thousands or even tens of halos, and I want to look at aggregates, and I want to look at heat mapping, and I want to look at trending and all sorts of other things, I need to push all those into the cloud. Now I can do more macro level analytics when I'm in the cloud. So that gives me the ability to look, across everything that's happening in this building, everything that's happening across all my campuses, everything happens in all my restrooms, however I want to slice that, and look at those analytics on more of a macro level. We do currently have a promo giving away a free year of that cloud service with any Halo. We do that because when you see how powerful those macro analytics can be, people are going to resubscribe to that. So that's optional, not required, but optional. Typically on a day-to-day, we are going to be a reactive device, and we are not going to be your UI. Salient's going to be your UI. That's going to be where you're visualizing and interacting mostly with the events that are coming from the Halo.
Right, it's that combination of the Halo events with the video, with an associated camera, being able to really look at the scene, determine what triggered it, because you've got the alert, but now you can visualize exactly what triggered it, or hopefully determine what the exact cause is and take appropriate action. There's a question in there from Mike. These devices do require a license in CompleteView, one per device. And then there's some additional questions here on the keywords.
I'll go back up to another one from Chris. We have 2.4 gigahertz now. Any options for 5? Yep, 5 is around the corner. So you'll see 5 gigahertz coming as well. Do we buy options for different scenarios? No. This is an all or nothing sensor. You can turn off events. You can turn off notifications by event. But you purchase it, you get all of those capabilities from the start. You also, Chris also said, I'm pretty sure that I can create my own keywords to initiate an alert or an event notice, but I could be wrong. Okay, so we have predefined keyword phrases. We don't use individual words. Those are too likely to be false, but we'll have keyword phrases. If you need a customized keyword phrase, we can do that for you on a case-by-case basis. Contact us directly. It is not... there are ways to do keywords that are very simple. We don't go the simple route. We use a very complicated large language model learning in order to have that keyword phrase learned to create the analytic per keyword phrase. So it is very accurate and highly unlikely to false alarm. So we can do customs, but it's not, you can't do it individually in the field. You need to work with our team here to get custom events.
All right, so Chris also had another question there to follow up on that. It's asking if there's a roadmap to integrate third-party sensors that measure specific gases. We can certainly do that. We have multiple ways to integrate the specific sensors. We also, in addition to Halo, we also have integrated some LiDAR sensors and some radar sensors. All right, so yes, we can integrate just about any type of sensor as long as it has the capability to send us events.
Also, how is the subscription model for Halo after a year? It is per device. So it is an annual subscription per device. I have 10 Halos. I need 10 cloud licenses. You can buy them in 1, 3, 5, and 10-year durations, but that's our licensing model. Is there anything on the roadmap to integrate third-party sensors that measure specific gases? Yes. So reach out to us. We have currently 6 devices released. We have some 36 external devices on our roadmap. Reach out to us. We can talk to you about anything specific. We cannot detect shower caps. I think the mention there was if you're going to be doing a deep cleaning, instead of spraying this with water or chemicals or something, and you want to protect Halo during that cleaning, you could put a shower cap over it. We had it was funny that was mentioned because the Chicago Transit is testing some Halos right now, and they power wash their trains at night, and so they put shower caps over their Halos. And Phil says we have FlySense vape detectors, and they have many false alarms that are that eat up value time. Yes, I shall not disparage my competitors. However, you will not have that same experience with the HALO. Happy to show you why if you'd like to contact us directly.
All right, great. All right, well, I think that wraps it up for us. Mike, thank you very much for joining us on this webinar. And if there's any other questions that come in, we'll answer them in email. But thank you, everybody, for your time.
Thanks, everybody. Appreciate you. Thanks for the questions, too.
Oh, yes, link will be sent out to all participants and even people who registered to review the webinar as well. All right. Thank you, everybody.